Shawn Clement here. We're at the Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, headquarters for Wisdom in Golf. And I'm introducing to you our new Director of Instruction for Southern California, SoCal, by the name of David DePula. And David is he is a character. He just loves to help people, super golfer, been in the game his whole life. And I'm really, really proud to have him on board. And to start things off, swing like Bubba Watson. Now, Bubba's been getting a lot of attention recently because he's gotten to number 2 in the world with a homemade swing. Shh, don't tell anybody. So he's never really taken a formal lesson in his life. And basically, the only real swing key he's used this whole time is make big circles. And if you understand that he could easily be a poster boy for wisdom in golf in the way we've taught all these decades, because it really functions with the human body. And if you look at swings from the 50s and 60s and 70s, they all swung like Bubba, okay? They took Bubba Watson, flipped his swing around right-handed, put him next to Jack Nicklaus, say, he looks exactly like Jack Nicklaus. Well, that was Hale Irwin. That was Sam Snead. There was so many of the top players of the era. And now, yet today, we're thinking, oh, no, he's got a homemade swing. Don't really look at what Bubba's doing. Finally, Peter Kostis is jumping on board, and he says, well, wait a second, guys. If you want to hit it long and straight like Bubba, because he's number 1 in greens in regulation, imagine that. So he's the longest and the most accurate because he's hitting the most greens. Well, that's a nicer recipe for success, isn't it? So how about we look at what Bubba does again? So you'll see it in our videos. You'll see finish the backswing like Bubba Watson. Get Bubba wide. So those are the video titles that we've had in our bank of videos. And if you look at one of the things that are the precursors, one of the things that they've noticed the most is that there's a lack of X factor, right? X factor. Coil the upper body against the lower body, which is anti-human anatomy, if you ask me. That's why we have so many bad backs and a lot of people exiting this game because they can't play anymore, either because of pain or frustration. We need to reverse that process, and swing like Bubba is definitely the way to go about it, because swing like Bubba is swing like Jack. It's swing like Hale Irwin. You remember how Hale used to dominate the senior tour, won 3 U.S. Opens. That guy had a golf swing. Lee Trevino, Seve Ballesteros in his prime. Those are all people who swing like Bubba Watson. So, lead knee rotates in behind the ball. Well, that's just like a baseball pitcher performing that particular windup. You'll never see a baseball pitcher go back and try to resist lower body, and a coil upper body against the lower body. It would be ridiculous for a pitcher to try and do that. If you look at baseball hitters, you notice when the ball comes, the first thing they do is that lead leg comes back. Well, yeah, they're gathering momentum. It's rotational momentum. That's how we function as human beings. So if you remember, Jack used to have his feet splayed open. Well, that's exactly what you want. That's how the hip sockets plug into your pelvis. Look at my lower body in the backswing video, and you'll see exactly why the feet need to be slightly open. And in the backswing, you notice how there's a huge turn of the hips. That's because your pelvis and rib cage sit on top of the hips. So in order for that big circle to occur, notice how my arms have to swing freely. So here's the biggest circle I can make with my arm club unit with one arm. Notice the center of that circle is my shoulder socket. Take both arms together. We want to make a big circle. Well, the upper body, the rib cage can't be in the way. So rib cage sits on pelvis through the spine. Spine has those facet joints. Please have a look at lower body in the backswing, and you'll see how that moves on top of the hips. The legs move the hips. So there's a lot of movement of the legs in the backswing. That's what you're supposed to be doing with this body on this planet with this particular tool. Same thing with an axe. So if Bubba was a lumberjack, he'd be called Bubba Bunyan, okay? Because the guy would know exactly how to wield that axe. So if we look at the lumberjack heaving his axe, well, you'd never see him heave an axe like this and try to coil upper body against lower body. He heaves the axe and gets out of the way so the arms can gather momentum. And then he's going to use the weight of that axe to deliver through. You notice nice solid contact. I didn't have to worry about what swing plane I was going to swing on, because if I take that axe and heave it back, I would never heave it behind me. Instinctively, Bubba is always going towards a specific target. He says, well, I'm going to start it there and I'm going to end it there. Or I'm going to start it there and I'm going to end it there. So if he's trying to hit a fade, well, he would never heave the axe this way because that doesn't fit the picture because of his experience. So this is the only place to heave the axe. And you notice how, as I heave the axe and get my body out of the way, to many of you, that backswing looks a little steep. It isn't. It's just wide. And wide is a little more upright. Ask Jack Nicklaus. So you'll notice when I'm swinging this arm club unit around that circle, if I go that way nice and wide, everything gets pulled up. If I go this way, nice and wide over that red kettlebell, wide, well, everything gets pulled up. And if I stay with a nice wide circle and I accommodate that wide circle, my lower body is going to start moving instinctively and get me the heck out of that way. So now that I've gathered this amazing momentum, notice how that left knee is rotated inwards. When I swing to the target, because Bubba is about swinging into the picture. Remember Jack Nicklaus used to talk about swinging into moving pictures. Well, there is how you reverse the process. When you hear Peter Kostis talk about how Bubba reverses the process on the downswing, it's not a thinking process, ladies and gentlemen. It is a process that reacts to a picture. Now, if we look at the swing sequence video I talked about, when you're throwing something in that direction, out of pure self-preservation, the body goes and puts a platform down. Now the body can use the ground through the leg. The leg takes the ground and uses the ground to remove itself out of the way, so I have access to my target. So guess what? Even if that lead heel comes off the ground, big turn out of the way, now I'm going to go to the target. So right away now the body goes, get the ground. All right, we got the ground? Excellent. Remove the body out of the way so the arms can go that way into that picture. So now notice how the left leg is extending from the ground and removing the hips out of the way, and the body comes out of the way, and then whoosh, there goes the arm club unit into that picture. And all we had to do was feel something to go into the picture. And the feel we use is slash the sword or throw the club. So if I throw the club into that picture, if you ask Bubba to throw a club down the range, he'd be amazing at it, okay? Same as Jack. So I get into my picture. Got it. I'm going right edge of that intermediate point. I'm going to hit a nice little draw. So I'm going to gather my backswing and throw it into that picture. So out of the way, throw it into the picture. So you'll see how my legs, even though my heel's coming off the ground, you'll see how my body wants to get out of the way. So gather it, throw it into the picture. Enjoy that, you guys.